Hi everyone, it's Penny from Wacko-Witch Astrology, and today we're here to talk about the future of the Republican Party in the United States of America. If you are interested in similar topics and you have not already seen my videos about the future of the United States that I did back in November, mostly about the elections and what would happen after the elections, and my video about the future of Donald Trump, where I talked about what's going to happen with him, and then my video about whether or not he was going to jail, just because, more stuff started to surface about the legal matters that I had seen coming up in the earlier video. So essentially we're at a point today with the impeachment trial and then some other legal battles he's going to have to face, where we're seeing what's going to happen with him. We're seeing whether or not my previous predictions were accurate. So moment of truth here for me. But anyway, I want to make a quick little announcement / disclaimer here. If the comment section starts to get really mean, it starts to get really hostile, I am going to end up turning comments off. So if you see that happen and you're wondering, I just want you to know why that happened. And one more thing. You might notice that I've been struggling with the quality on some of my videos, and I am looking to make some equipment upgrades. If you want to help me be able to afford better equipment to afford these videos, then you can donate to Patreon. I have my link in the description. It's patreon.com/PennyAstrology. Link is down there if you want to click that and help me out. But anyway, I guess we're just going to get to the reading. And the reason we want to know what's going on with the Republican Party is because we've already seen some really significant divide happening right now. We've seen Republican leaders having to make difficult decisions about, basically, are they going to put their neck on the line? In what way? And I think they've been faced with some difficult decisions. I've heard Republicans refer to this divide as Trumpism versus Republicanism. And basically we want to know, what is the future of the Republican Party? Is there going to be some kind of split? Are they going to be able to recover after everything that has happened from this? So we're just going to see what comes up in the cards, and I'm just going to interpret them. And I decided that I'm going to try to just tell you exactly what I see. I'm going to avoid mentioning names because there were some issues with that in my last video, and I realized if I would have just said what I saw rather than trying to figure out if I could remember the names of them, so I see things, but I don't normally see a name with it. That would be weird if I saw names hovering above people's heads. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so I'm told we can stop shuffling now. And the first card here we have is the Sun. So that's expressing, some type of joy that needs to happen, some type of fulfillment that needs to happen. And then we have a card about new beginnings. So there's something new that's happening that's changing the way that the Republican Party is expressing themselves. And then the Judgment card above it. So this is about realizations. This is about Republican voters as well as politicians having to ask themselves, what is it that we believe in? What is it that we stand for? Kind of doing that soul-searching level of stuff. Below that is the Death card. So this doesn't mean that everyone's going to drop dead. That would be horrible. It means that there's going to be a transformation. There's going to be a metaphorical death of some type. And the old ways of the Republican Party are going to be done away with to a large extent. So hopefully we're going to get more information about what those old ways actually include, but it seems like there's some big, huge change that needs to be happening in the Republican Party. And this is what the Republican Party is destined for right now, this huge change. So this is showing that a lot of voters and politicians have learned a lot from recent events. They've learned a lot from things that have recently happened. There's going to be someone a bit younger, someone a bit more fresh. I can't really see them that clearly right now, but they're coming in and they're going to be a new proposed leader for the Republican Party. So this is someone new who's coming in, who's going to try to make a name for themselves. I'm feeling like it's somewhere between dirty blonde and actual brunette hair that this younger Republican man is going to have. and he's going to be like a little bit of a pioneer coming in. This is showing that there is still an ongoing battle. There's still an attempt to like reclaim some of the values that were lost in what has happened recently with Republicanism. So mostly that's going to have to do with the traditional Christian values that Republicans usually base their decisions off of. There's still some availability of money. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some money coming in, being donated from individual, I want to say an individual business, but I feel like it's more like an individual business owner who's still going to have like significant influence over donations that they're providing to the Republican Party. And money is like this is significant because it looks like money is becoming an issue. It looks like something has happened that has caused the Republican Party to lose a good amount of its funding. So that is a real threat that they're facing right now. And then the outcome card is the Star. So what I'm getting from this is it probably specifically has to do with the state of Texas, something that specifically is happening in the state of Texas that will have significant influence over the Republican Party and their ability to kind of change and adapt to what is coming here. So far what I've seen is this younger man with brunette to dirty blonde hair who is coming in as sort of a pioneer to try and help the Republican Party recover. And then a lot of that funding that they need is going to be coming from an individual business owner, likely someone who is in Texas. There's going to be some significant influence there. And there's going to be a big change. Now, what we're still wondering is, does this change mean that the word Republican Party is going to be like done away with, or does it just mean that there's going to be more of an internal change? Like, are we going to keep referring to it as the Republican Party, or are we going to call it something else? So I'm intuitively feeling like this is actually something that you can't see as easily. It's a big internal transformation. So I've now come to the impression that the name of the Republican Party is not going to change. It's going to keep being referred to as the Republican Party. I'm not seeing a split per se, but I'm seeing someone new coming in and like kind of a new pioneering thing happening with the Republican Party to help them recover from this. I'm going to do one more reading just kind of about the past and the future of what's going on here. We want to know the past versus the future of the people involved and the things that are being said and the actions that are being taken and the economic influence or positions of the Republican Party and all of that sort of thing. We're going to see what we can find here. Okay, so I'm getting that there's like a really deep feeling of religious betrayal. And there's a lot of people who specifically feel like the religious values that were involved in the Republican Party have been betrayed. People have turned their back on the Christian faith and how that was meant to be a foundation for the Republican Party. That's going to be a big underlying factor in what goes on here. So there's some very bad blood between certain people in the Republican Party. And it's going to, I feel like it's actually going to strengthen the influence and the importance of Christian values in the Republican Party. I know probably not that many people who watch my channel are super Christian, and it like, to me, it sounds like most of the Christian people who comment on my videos hate me anyway. I hope that's not true. If you want to leave a nice comment and prove me wrong, please do. But that's what it looks like, and that's not me speaking my own opinion. That's just what this looks like. All right, and what's happening with communication, we're seeing certain people leaving, certain people coming out of the picture and no longer being a part of the Republican Party. some of them because they don't want to be, and some of them literally because they just feel like they need to be able to get out of it. They need to be able to relocate. They need to be able to, seek change and seek something new in their life. There are going to be people who have stayed with the Republican Party and have continued to fight for the Republican Party, though. So again, we're seeing like this death of the Republican Party is more of a like rebirth, essentially, than it is an actual death. It's just a big transformation. All right, economically, yeah, this again is showing me that the source of the funding is going to be changing for the Republican Party. It looks like they've lost funding from specific sources. I don't know what these sources are. I think it's people who had like very specific expectations about what their money should be going towards, and they're going to be getting it from a news source, which is very business oriented. But having donations from, the first reading seemed like one specific business, but this seems more like just more in theory. Getting donations from businesses is going to be like more important than ever for the Republican Party. And it seems like some of the individuals who were donating, they're more upset and they were ready to leave the Republican Party behind, and they kind of pulled their money out, which is going to create some strain for the Republican Party. And then finally, we have the 9 of Cups in the past, and then the 2 of Swords coming up in the future. And this is basically just showing that there's some big decisions that need to be made. It's going to be a really heavy burden. We are faced with a lot of people who want to leave the Republican Party, who want to abandon them at this point. And, the values are really being questioned. That's what it keeps coming down to. The values of the Republican Party are being questioned at this point. There's some issues with actual agreement, and there's people feeling like their needs aren't being met anymore, their values aren't being respected anymore, and that's on both sides of the fence. The Republicans who are still advocating for the former president, and for the Republicans who are, advocating for a kind of a way to move past that, whether that means pretending it didn't happen or whether it means just kind of rewriting how they're going to operate. So the good news for anyone who supports the Republican Party right now in watching this is that there is a newer, younger politician, like I said, light brown hair, dirty blondish, somewhere in between that. He's coming in. He seems like he's going to have a positive influence on the Republican Party. He's going to help, fight for the reputation of the Republican Party and help it get the funding that it needs and all that sort of thing. And he's going to really kind of stand out in the community. He is likely to be a Republican who is from Texas, likely still living in Texas at this time. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this overall. I didn't see a party split. I didn't see a name change in the Republican Party per se. I'm also not sure what I would be looking for or how I would receive that message, because I haven't predicted anything similar to that before in the past. So I don't really know what to look for in this instance. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it looks like they will find a way to carry on, and it's going to be new. It did look like there's a little more battle, a little more confrontation coming, and I'm not seeing anything anywhere near as dramatic as the riots at the Capitol or anything that we had seen, leading up to this month of February of 2021, from where I'm speaking at this point in the timeline right now. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you have any input, I'd love to hear it. And please try to keep the comments nice. Once again, if you want to donate to my Patreon, the link is in the description. And I hope you and your family are doing well. Bye.